now we're able to go to Gaza and speak with one of those incredible journalists, our great friend Abubaker Abed. I think he's with us now.
Yeah.
Hi, Abubaker. Hi. It's
How
so
are
good
you?
to see your face.
Can you hear
Hi,
me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Hi, how are you?
We're good. We're happy to see you. I know it's been a very, from what you've been posting, it's been more than usually difficult these days with heavy bombardment in many areas of Gaza. And I know that for you personally, Abubaker, before we talk about some of the news, today is a special unhappy anniversary for you. Do you want to say more about that?
Yes, first, I'm so happy to be again here talking to you. But yes, as you said, it's the first heartbreaking anniversary of the killing of my very dearest friend, 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜, who was killed around 2 weeks after the killing of Mohammed Hamma, who wrote for the Electronic Intifada before. And the second article I wrote for the Electronic Intifada, entitled Stranded in School, was written in the house of 𝐓𝐻asan 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜. 𝐓𝐻asan didn't have any political affiliations at all, but he was brutally killed in cold blood without no reasons. His house was leveled up to the ground. It's been a year. I really never believed that this would go on since his killing, but it's going on. And just a few hours ago, 5 members of my relatives have been killed in an Israeli airstrike on Gaza City. And I don't know what to say anymore, but when you lose someone who's very close to your heart, and you don't even have the time to grieve this loss or to let your wounds heal up, this has taken a very heavy toll on us and every single one of Gaza, because every single one of Gaza, either a child or a woman or anyone, has gone through a tragedy, does have a tragedy. And these tragedies continue to unfold. So some people are just losing. This is personally for me a very tragic day, a very miserable day. I don't know, like I haven't recognized myself since he was killed, to be honest. He learned me, he told me to hope, he told me to dream. He told me once that this war would end and we would be together again. We would complete our studies. We would live happily. We would get married and live in the same street. But now he wanted to live outside and complete his studies as an expatriate. But no, Israel killed him. Israel destroyed his house, destroyed his dreams, destroyed everything about him. Israel didn't let anything to remember anything about him. The places we were visiting were destroyed. His house was destroyed. Our university was reduced to rubble. And this is the barbarism that Israel is implementing every single day and inflicting upon every Palestinian trapped in the beleaguered territory. So it's a very huge loss, but we just say Alhamdulillah. It's insurmountable. Alhamdulillah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and let's just show this beautiful photo that you posted of you and 𝐓𝐻asan together. We just show that so people can see you together. It's a wonderful photo, a wonderful way to remember him.
The place we were in, it was a restaurant in Khan Yunis, and it was bombed and razed to the ground. So, but yes, he's amazing. He's a beacon of hope, of passion, of everything. He taught me to love life. He taught me everything. And even, Khalid al-Hissi knows him very well, and we all know him. Also, teacher Ahmed Nihad knows him, taught him. So it's incredibly unimaginable. But I just promised myself that his memory would go with me wherever I go. I will keep his legacy because he had touched the hearts of everybody who knew him. And everybody who knew him loved him because he was kind. And you can see his charming smiles, already two charming smiles in the photo. So amazing, amazing, just amazing. But yes, I'm sure he's in a better place. And I hope that the world will not let him down. And will not let him down because his brother, his older brother and mother are still alive, and they are very frightened to join the rest of their family. So I hope the world will intervene and stop this genocide for him, although he was killed.
Yeah.
Allah yarhamo, Allah yarham kull shuhada, and your relatives who were lost. And thank you for sharing his memory and his picture and his inspiration with us, Abubakar, and I hope he'll always stay with you and with us. Abubakar, you've been doing a lot of reporting in the past few days and weeks, and we want to talk to you about some of what you've been doing. A few days ago, you put out a tweet about World Central Kitchen and saying that World Central Kitchen, which is this humanitarian agency that operates in Gaza, that you had some doubts about it, and that set off. I don't know if Abubakar, are you still with us? You are.
Yeah,
with
I
us.
am.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
I am. Me.
You know, so you've been looking into World Central Kitchen. Your tweet raised a lot of discussion. Tell us why you put the focus on World Central Kitchen.
Because I believe they've been corrupt. I believe that they haven't been very sincere and very transparent in distributing aid to every single one in Gaza. And it's not all they made. There are a lot of people in Gaza who have tweeted and posted about World Central Kitchen in particular. And I believe that all the humanitarian organizations that I've told you before are a tool for imperialism and colonialism. So they're not helping the poor and traumatized people. Their intentions are not very pure. That's what I believe. And at the same time, if they do, you cannot really go out and say to the public that you are feeding the entire population and you're making sure that nobody in Gaza goes hungry, when the vast majority of people inside the places or the zones that you are operating in do not receive any food from you. That is quite deceitful for your audience. And at the same time, I've been hearing from members of several international humanitarian organizations who have close ties with World Central Kitchen, and I could hear from them that they are deliberate in restoring food and goods until they get quite rotten. When they really get close to or from being rotten, they start distributing this aid or these goods to the outside people. So you can see how inhuman some of these members are. And this is not only about the World Central Kitchen. I believe that sometimes we not, look, I don't accept the fact to be victimized, and this is the same story for me and every Palestinian, but we're not in a position to be very much deceived and bamboozled in a way that no one can accept or tolerate. So if you really want to help the poor in Gaza, just give them what they want and really go and tell people. And one important point that people do not understand is that, like, there is a very important question that should be raised. For example, why aid doesn't reach people while they are in their houses and their shelters? Meanwhile, everywhere across the globe, in the conflict zones, people there, the refugees there, receive aid, receive food, free food, while they are in their shelters, in their homes, and in their places. So this can reflect the purposeful dehumanization of the Palestinian people. And a lot of people here have made it very clear to the outside world that we don't need your aid because your aid is not even for animals. It's not even, cannot really taste good at all. It's not eatable. But yes, like if you really want to operate in Gaza, don't really harm us in an unintended way, but instead you should do harder. You should work harder to make sure that everyone is getting aid, is getting their right in receiving this aid or receiving these free meals. But this is not happening at all. And also,
Yeah, and of course, World Central Kitchen would say, and they do say, that they're trying their very best under difficult circumstances, of course. But what we want to reflect is what you're seeing and what people in Gaza are seeing, because World Central Kitchen is able to reach the world through the media and through its website. And they put out a statement yesterday saying that they're trying to restart their operations in Gaza. Recently, Israel attacked one of their convoys and killed several of their workers, claiming that one of them had been somehow involved in October 7th, and that attack took place. That Israeli attack on a World Central Kitchen convoy took place on November 30th, and Israel demanded that World Central Kitchen investigate its hiring practices and employees, including subjecting them to Israeli security checks. And they fired a number of employees on that basis. And World Central Kitchen has now said that they will submit all their employees, all their hires, to Israeli security checks, and that this was the only way, they say, in fact, that after the tragic November 30th attack, Israel publicly demanded an investigation into our hiring practices in Gaza, including security checks through COGAT, the Israeli department in charge of humanitarian aid. Although these measures cannot fully guarantee security, they help to reduce the risk of attacks on our team, kitchens, and distribution sites. Based on the results, we made the difficult decision to make changes in Gaza. What they mean by that is firing several dozen workers. And then they say this should not be taken as a conclusion by World Central Kitchen that the individuals are affiliated with any terror organization. But they do say that we believe we had two options: to close operations in Gaza or to adjust to their request, meaning the Israeli request. What's your reaction to all of that, Abubaker?
Well, I think, as I told you, even when you really accuse someone of anything, you should really give proof. But all of these humanitarian organizations are working closely with the Israeli military to facilitate their operations inside Gaza. But at the same time, why don't these organizations work with the local security forces to ensure the safe delivery of aid to everyone in Gaza? But I was yesterday, let me tell you something that is really shocking. One of the humanitarian organizations, I think it's called, I don't know, but I think it's, I don't remember. It's a medical humanitarian organization. And someone suggested that there should be more organization by distributing cards to every single patient. So the treatment of patients goes very well. But then the manager of this place has refused that and said that we are aiming to create this chaos among people. So you can see this is sometimes the truth slips off, and this is what happened because he said it himself that his bosses outside do want this chaos to happen in Gaza and to unfold in Gaza. Do not want to see Gazans as humans, do not want to see us as humans. And this is the same for every humanitarian organization. Because if these organizations want to see us as humans, such a claim by the Israeli army should be really disapproved, but then they didn't say anything and they just said okay to the Israeli army and went with it. It's completely wrong. It's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah,
And
they just take Israel's accusations or demands and they don't push back.
and
Yeah.
and what we can
Absolutely.
and what we can say conclusively, I mean, I know there's a lot of doubt, a lot of frustration, a lot of concern about all these organizations. Uh, in any type of situation like this, you get black markets, you get corruption, and people are talking about that in Gaza. You're talking about that, Abubakar, other people are. But the big picture is what we have to keep our eye on, which is that there is hunger and starvation in Gaza because that's what Israel wants. That's what the United States wants. And if they wanted food to enter Gaza and reach every home in Gaza, it would. But it's because they don't want it to. Abubakar, we have just a minute or two left with you. And I want to ask you, you did a report this week, because in our next segment, we're going to talk about Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜, who was very dear to you as he is to us. And you did a report from a camp for displaced people named after 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜. Tell us about that camp, who lives there, and what you reported on from there.
Yeah, there live many families who have or whose members have been severely wounded during the war and need very urgent medical evacuation, especially for children. And this initiative is led by people who live in the UK. So there is no, and this is one point that can be connected with the Western Kitchen and the humanitarian organizations. So because when I went there, I asked people and just asked children, how is the camp? And they said to me that we have everything. We're so happy. And we feel we are not displaced because there is no any international intervention in this camp. But when you see other camps where humanitarian organizations work, it's completely different. And in that camp, there is they really named it like this in honor of Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜. May Allah bless him, bless his soul. And yes, because the managers there are affected, and those who lead this initiative are affected by Dr. 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐄𝐥𝐞𝐜, by his legacy, with his words and everything. And yes, there was life there. Like people there feel very safe, although there is no safe in Gaza and bombardments happen around them. And even that place, the attack 1 hour ago happened nearby that camp, by the way, in 𝐓𝐡𝐞 area. And everything about that camp was really beautiful. They are a very united family. There's nothing that they can really complain about because they had sessions, entertainment, everything. So it was beautiful to sit with them because of those children who are brutally traumatized and brutalized by the ongoing war. But yes, again, it's a very important point to tell you that it is very different. And it's very different when you compare two camps. One organized by humanitarian organizations and one organized by initiatives led by ordinary people, especially people outside. So it's completely different.
Yeah, and last week we spoke with Dunya Abu-Sitta about a kindergarten that is organized by people in Gaza. So there are such efforts by local people in Gaza that probably most of which we will never hear about. So we're really very grateful to you, Abubakar, for telling us about that initiative and for joining us. And we hope to see you again very, very soon.
Allah, all the best. Thank you for your work and thanks for everything you do.
Thank you, Abubakar. We love you. Take care, and we hope
Bye.
to see you soon.
All the best. Bye.
Becker. See you soon.